are he, him. I'm facilitating, I'm hosting, I'm playing with these friends, Ironsworn and Delve, here on the Gauntlet Gaming community. We are using some safety tools. I'll hit those first, and then we'll do some intros. So we are using Open Table. People may walk away at any time. We are using X card that's built into our dice roller. If a topic comes up that someone doesn't like, they can X card it, and we will rewind and start again. And we are using lines and veils. We have a safety and resources tab in our character keeper listing out a variety of topics that we have lined, which means we will not introduce them into the story, and veiled, which means we will not go into great detail about them. We also have a couple of ask first, in which case when we want to bring something up, we will first ask whether it is okay. Those are our safety tools. Friends, do we have any questions about any of those? We've done this so many times. I will go first. So hello, my name is Dan. My pronouns are he, him. I'm playing a bardish cook named Sasko. He is not very good at either of those things, but he did pick up some alchemy along the way. So he can mix a pretty good brew and tell a pretty good story. And that's Sasko. Why don't we go in reverse character keeper order? So Joel, you would be next.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Joel, he, him pronouns. I am playing Nadira, who uses she, her pronouns. She is kind of a roguish dancer who's picked up some herbalism along the way to kind of complement Sasko's bard and alchemy. Yet to see if she's a good herbalist or not. She hasn't poisoned anyone yet, so she can't be terrible. But so far, has kind of been sneaky, kind of dancy. So we'll see what she gets into this time.
Nice. Josh, you're up.
Yeah, of course. Hi, I'm Josh. He, him, his. I am playing Henian. Henian is a devotee of Nikun, god of wisdom, old world god of wisdom. Henian is a traveler and a debater and sort of a pain in the neck.
One of your assets is a mammoth.
Yes, Henian is you can see him coming a while off because he does travel with the mammoth Bashtu, which he was gifted 15 years ago by his giant friend Katir, who he is still trying to pay back for such a generous present.
I mean, we haven't made ample use of our assets in general, but I also feel bad that you've got an asset that can't follow us fictionally.
It is very fine. I'm fine just having the mammoth be a fun fact for now.
I'm just wondering if maybe like on a really good roll, we sort of have the mammoth kind of Kool-Aid man into the cave somehow at some point. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm open to that idea. All right. Unfortunately, Bethany is not here, so we will skip over them. And Blake, it is your turn.
G'day, I'm Blake, he, him. I'm playing Keenan, he, him. Father of 3, archer. Yeah. Explorer, trying to make the world a safer place, hopefully.
Blake, what do you remember about where we last left off?
I thought we wanted to test out the sort of detailed combat rules. So we were going to go, we've just bumped into some other treasure hunters or explorers, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
That's what I thought we're up to, but I could be wrong. And sort of try the detailed thing. And then if it doesn't work, we'll go back to the battle move, which is like a vignette zoomed out thing.
I love that idea. I forgot about the other treasure hunters.
Just to clarify, you don't normally use rituals in combat because I couldn't find it clarified in the rules. So I thought, bugger it, I'll just ask the author. And he said, they are assumed to take some time and focus, which probably won't be in the battle in the midst of a fight, but it can depend on the situation, how you frame rituals in your campaign. Generally, I'd suggest keeping it preparatory, except in dramatic circumstances.
That was very nice of him to answer your question.
No, that's the joy of social media. You can reach out and chat to people.
So are you saying things like augur?
Yeah, so rituals you can't use in the middle of combat unless it kind of makes sense for you to. Generally, you might see the battle coming and then you do something in preparation.
Got it. Joel, Josh, does fighting a bunch of rival treasure hunters sound okay to you?
Of course.
What I feel like what I remember is that we had opened a hidden passage.
I do this.
Someone had found an opportunity, and so we had started down that passage, or were the treasure hunters in this room beyond the mushrooms where we were? I don't know. Joel, do you have any preferences or thoughts on where we're at?
I remember we went past the room with the mushrooms, and that was when we kind of all, gave details about the room we came across. So I think that was where it was like the hidden passage. There was a fireplace and some of those like coral tip spears. And I think I remember the advantage that you talked about. So I think that was more or less like we got the drop on the treasure hunters that are there.
I thought the crow's nest were there from the top of the mast. We found part of the ship.
Yeah. That was in the mushroom area, and that had sort of led us into this other area. And we had this really good description. They were part of the ship crashed here. Yeah, we did that. It's not naturally formed, so now we're entering an area of the cave that is maybe created by other humans. And then there's a long dead fire, and we saw the spears, and that's when we came across the hidden passage. So I wonder if we come across this hidden passage, and as we're doing so, I guess, right, Joel, you mentioned we got the drop on them. So maybe we're heading down the passage and we come to the next area, and that's where these rivals are. Mm-hmm. Unless someone else has another idea on how we come upon them.
Yeah, I think that works.
What, Josh, what do you think they're doing when we come upon them? What are these rivals, treasure hunters, doing when we find them?
Yeah, I think that they are I think that they're inspecting the walls. In the opening of the cave, we had seen higher up on the walls carvings, and I think that in this area, the carvings are there are more carvings in this area, and these are treasure hunters, right? So this is a sign of somebody here, and they're kind of studying these like decorative inscriptions that lead down the sides of the corridor.
Yeah, I love that. Maybe they have like a linguist or someone with them who's trying to make heads or tails of these carvings to locate the treasure. Blake, how many of these folks do you think there are? Are we evenly matched? Are there more of them? Are there fewer? What do you think?
It's a good question. I think probably like 4 of them, 4 of us.
Yeah, I like it. Should we assume that it's Bethany's characters? Toran maybe stayed back to guard our rear guard or something?
Works for me.
All right. Are they in a big open room? Is this kind of a narrow bottleneck area? I just want to get a sense of the environment that we're in. Blake, do you have any ideas?
I would say big open room. There's probably a few pillars and there's cover for both sides, basically. So it's like my background here.
Cool. And I think maybe the ceiling opens up. So now we're kind of in a big open area. This was never a mine, so there's nothing like that. But I think we're seeing maybe a mix of the natural cave plus the area that was carved out. So we've got the runes that Josh indicated that are being examined, but we've got this kind of big open space and maybe some ancient structures in here of someone long ago, whoever made the runes had maybe
Well, there's one of the iron pillars in here.
oh yes, good call. Yeah, that catches my eye at least. I'm just gonna say it's like right in the middle of this room, sort of in the perfect geometric middle of the room. And extends way up. Maybe it's too dark to really even see where it goes. I mean, we talked about wanting to fight them. What provokes us? Why are we attacking them and not just trying to sneak by?
Maybe. Go ahead.
No, please, Joel, if you have a suggestion.
I was gonna say maybe they have some type of iconography or like color signifying them as like particularly violent treasure hunters and like slavers and that sort of thing.
Yeah, like from a rival village.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Is it Nadira's background? She was spied upon a rival clan. This could be that clan.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
They're from the clan that I spy on, and Nadira knows them to be very like violent and take no survivors.
Or sell the survivors into slavery if that topic is okay. Yeah. So Nadira, how do you communicate to us we need to take these guys out? Like, what does that look like?
I think she kind of like, in the whole quiet hand gestures kind of points to like the symbol that they have on their shoulder piece, and then kind of points at like they've got manacles and chains and stuff kind of at their belts for taking people prisoner and to sell into slavery, and kind of just does a hand gesture of like, we need to take them out hard. Like we can't let them take us.
So you're sort of doing it quietly, like pointing those things out. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure Sasko is at least bright enough to understand what you mean. His wits is too. I'll say that he can follow along. I guess do we Sasko says, I'm not gonna go out front. Who's gonna lead the charge?
I think Nadira will say, you don't want to charge with these ones. If you engage them on open battle, then you've already lost. Like we go around, we flank them. I think she's trying to be as strategic and ambushy as possible.
Okay.
So we're all going to kind of sneak towards them to attack, but we're waiting for Nadira to start it because she's going to strike first enemy wall.
All right, good. So I'm reading right from I don't have my book. I forgot to bring it down, but I've got Gigantic the rules and the character keeper. When you enter into combat, first set the rank of each of your foes. My inclination is to just set a progress track for this entire group, unless you want to do individual.
We could make them like the second thing, so they're not easy, but they're not tough sort of thing. They're all second difficulty.
Yeah.
I forgot what the word is.
Dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous. That's it.
Jinx. All right. All right, here we go. Here we go. Sorry, reload the spreadsheet. All right, this is the rival treasure hunters, and they are dangerous. Cool. Then roll to determine who is in control. If you are facing off against your foe, roll heart. Moving into position against an unaware foe or striking with a warning, roll shadow. Ambushed, roll wits. So I believe it's that second one.
Yeah.
I wonder if Nadira, should we each roll, or should just Nadira roll?
Yeah, I think Nadira roll.
Kind of like
No pressure.
leading the charge. Yeah, let's see. 2d10s, and you said shadow.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, you should be just fine.
And now my question is, using these fancy assets we have, I have Cutthroat or Infiltrator, which the abilities I've unlocked. When you make a move to breach, traverse, or hide within an area held by an enemy, add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. Does that seem applicable in this situation?
100% yes.
Okay.
I completely agree. Anyone have, I mean, it's co-op though, so does anyone have any objections? I love it.
Then Cutthroat is when I'm striking, which I'm not doing. Okay, so just Infiltrator. Yeah, so I think like as we're about to go, you'll see Nadira kind of ties her hair back in a ponytail so it's not in her face, and like, you know, she wears a scarf normally, she like puts it up above her face and just kind of goes behind one of the pillars that are there, and then you almost don't see her for a bit until like closer to the enemy. She kind of like sneaks out of another pillar.
Love it.
And like you lost track of her a bit. Let's see how well that goes. So it was a 3 and a 10 on the d10s, and then on the action die was a 6. So what do they call it in here? Average hit.
Weak hit.
Weak hit. So let's see. On a weak hit, I can either bolster our position, taking +2 momentum, or prepare to act, taking initiative. I think I will take initiative since I'm already getting +1 momentum from my asset.
Okay. So I think, which one are you setting upon there? I mean, are you attacking all of them, or do you have like a multi-person attack, or are you just kind of go after the leader, or what are you thinking?
I think like most of them are kind of distracted looking at what the linguist person is doing with the runes. And there's like one person that's supposed to be on watch, but is constantly like looking behind him at the runes, trying to see what everyone else is interested in.
Right.
And I think that's like who Nadira strikes for.
Okay, love it. So I believe you roll strike now.
Okay. So you mentioned, so roll iron. Yeah, because I am in close range, which my iron isn't great, but I do have Cutthroat for this. When I strike someone at an unsuspecting foe, I will say add +2 so that my iron is actually decent.
Wow.
Okay, so that is a 10 and 2 on the d10s, and then 7 on the action die. So another weak hit.
Wow. You rolled a 10 and 2 on the 10s again.
Yeah. That is a rough d10.
Inflict your harm
And lose
initiative.
Okay, but I did get momentum. So
Does
then, go ahead.
I assume the initiative applies to us as a group, or do we think they're individual? Anyone want to make a call on that?
I believe it was individual, but I mean, we can start it with a group and then go individual by what happens in our roles and stuff.
Mhm.
I love that. Okay.
Kind of whatever matches the narrative. If one person kind of like breaks off from the group to fight.
So each of us needs to keep track of whether we have initiative or not. Each individual has initiative. Okay. All right. So you inflict your harm and lose initiative. So my read of this is, since they're a dangerous foe, we mark 2 progress per harm.
Yeah. And is default harm just at 1 for us to do?
When we suffer harm?
When we inflict it.
Yeah, it says, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but it says dangerous foe, 2 progress per harm. So when it says inflict your harm, I'm hearing we mark 2 progress. Or,
Okay.
were you asking something else?
More, I guess, like what our default harm is without any like stuff to modify it.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless it says otherwise. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So let's not lose the fiction here. What does this look like when Nadira scores a weak hit on this person and still harms them?
I think like Nadira gets pretty much right up close behind the person, and that's when he turns around and she kind of almost ducks under his vision and then, you know, does a shot to the gut, probably enough to kind of like knock him off his feet pretty hard, but not enough to silence him, and he's able to cry out in pain, and that kind of alerts like his other friends.
Are you you have knives? What are your, do you have a weapon?
Yeah, I got lots of daggers.
Nice. So he kind of calls out,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we lose the initiative.
Yep.
Shall we go in reverse character keeper order, which would mean Josh, you are next.
All right. Well, my foe has initiative, and I think right now Henian is going to fight at close quarters. So he is going to charge, staff out, to back up Nadira. And you know, it is not, I think, the most assuming thing. Kenyon is not, he's not armored, and you know, it's a big stick, but looks can be misleading. You know, he's deadly with it. So
Is it mostly kind of swing it like a club, or is there a little bit more finesse to his use of the staff?
I think that he is very good at using the staff. He does have some finesse. He has good timing also, generally. He's good at, you know, hitting people when their back are turned and that sort of thing.
Got it.
So, you know, it's Nikun looking after him.
Yeah. It doesn't offend his god to smack someone upside the head.
No. Nikun is a god of wits. It's actually devotional to smack someone in behind.
That's great.
Yeah, so I think this is a clash.
Okay.
So that is a 2 and a 6 on the d6 versus a 1. That is a strong success.
You rolled. You were meant to roll 2d10s.
That is why, because I forgot how this game works the past week. Let's re-roll that one and hope that it does as good. Can only go down. 2 6s and a 2. Which is actually a 3, or is it plus? What is clash plus?
Plus iron.
Plus iron.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that is a 3. So that is a failure.
Not only that, because you rolled 2 6s.
It is a
It's a twist.
twist failure.
I don't know what that means. Um,
So I am outmatched, and I must pay the price. And my foe has initiative.
I don't believe that the twist has to be to do with a failure. It's just something unexpected happened. Like it could be the reason he missed is he noticed some of the runes. He recognizes it because they're to do with ancient Nakoon stuff. So he's like, "Holy shit, that's to do with Nakoon!"
Ooh,
Trips over the god.
yeah, love it. Do you want to roll your pay the price?
Of course. That is a D100.
Yep. It's under suffer moves.
So it's a 34. Pay the price. Under suffer moves.
Should. Maybe not. Maybe it's fate moves. There it is. Yeah, it's under fate moves.
Oh, let's see. Okay. So what did I say I rolled? I said I rolled a 34, which means that the current situation worsens. I think a 5th guy might have stumbled out from behind the corner. From all
Doing
this
their fly
commotion.
up, they were having a leak.
Yeah. Walks over, he's pulling his, he's running, he's putting his shoes back on.
May I make a suggestion?
Of course.
Because I'm just thinking about the progress tracks. Like, does that change the progress track, or does it add another progress track? And is it a guy, or maybe it's a guy and he has 2 big dire wolves with him, or something like that? Is that escalating it too much?
I would say that is definitely okay. Well, what is the actual move text? You are outmatched. You must pay the price. I think that it is very fair to say that in this lamentable twist, that the dire wolf handler comes from around the corner.
Yeah, I think maybe 1 though. 2 might be a bit much.
He might be a little bit much. He only has the 1.
Fine. I'm going to add a dire wolf track. I'm going to call that troublesome because it's just the 1. Does that sound right? That was wicked fun. Are you, Josh? Do you think you are done?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I lost initiative, so I do think that I am done.
Besides, I mean, did you just get walloped? What do we see on the screen?
Yeah. Well, I think that Henian. Unfortunately, this is not one of the times when his staff is more impressive than it looks. As these are men in mail, and he whacks him, but the guy doesn't, he doesn't get a good angle. It sort of glances off, and then there's a ring from the staff hitting the metal, and then there's a bark from deeper in the cave, which is very surprising.
Right.
And that is when the handler runs out with the wolf on a chain, and everything goes a little bit worse.
I feel like at least Sasko is like trying to shout to Nadira, like, "You didn't say they had wolves," or something like that. All right, I believe that Blake, it's your character's turn.
Okay. So I'm thinking when these 2 went against their foes, there's sort of a guy at the back and he's going to chuck, he's getting spears out of his case on his back. And as I sort of aim my bow at him, I whistle and hopefully shoot him.
All right, so you are archerying. You're shooting it with
Yep.
your bow. Got it.
So I guess this will be clash edge.
Yep.
So, and what have I got? Edge 2. Sweet. 2. Oh, actually, I just add that to the D6. Okay, what's this going to get? So, and the 6, sorry, 3 becomes a 5. So that's a weak hit.
That's right.
So inflict your harm and lose initiative. Okay. I'm thinking, I shoot him with an arrow, but I didn't watch my footing, so I kind of slipped down the cave a bit.
Is that your pay the price? Or are you
Uh,
gonna roll?
no, I just said lose initiative. I was just thinking cinematically. That's what happens. I
Okay.
lose my good position by slipping down the cave a bit, but I did get to shoot him.
Yes. Yeah, I just marked more progress on that. Gosh, there are a lot of spreadsheets to keep track of. This is like work. And I'm reading on Clash. You inflict your harm, but then pay the price. Are you going to roll on that table?
Yeah. No, you're right. And I was reading. All right. Let's do percentage.
I mean, with pay the price, you can also just sort of say what bad thing happens to you.
34. We'll go with 34.
Another 34?
Current situation worsens.
There's only so many dire wolves we can add to the scene.
Mhm.
I mean, I have an idea.
I mean, I can say some of my rations fall out.
Okay.
So even if we make it out of this, we're down on food sort of thing.
All right. That feels like an inconvenience more than a worsening, but I will go for it. Do you want to narrate anything else that goes on?
Well, could this dire wolf handler dude, lady, whatever, they could be a badass. They pull out 2 swords and they're going to cut the shit out of me, basically.
Right.
They're better fighter than the others.
I love the idea. Like they got a beat on you now. Like, and one of them is coming right for you. Would that be all right? All right, that feels good. All right. I've not played combat this crunchy in God knows how long, and it's kind of entertaining. All right, so Sasko's turn. Sasko has a sling. I know you're jealous. When launched from a sling, a simple stone inflicts deadly harm, 2 harm. When you enter the fray by barraging your foe with sling bullets, inflict harm on a strong hit. So I think what that means is I roll my regular clash with edge, but if I'm successful, I inflict 2 harm.
Sounds right.
Does that sound right to you? All right. My edge is 2. Well, that's tragic. I got a straight up miss. Let's see what goodies happen. On a miss, I'm outmatched and must pay the price. The foe continues to have initiative. So I do think I'm kind of pretty mediocre at this, or largely practiced in the fields outside of our town and not in actual combat situations. So I'm flinging things from my sling. I think of it as a slingshot, even though it's probably more like one of those slings. And I wonder if I hit. I guess I need to roll to pay the price. Let me do that. Are you kidding me? Is this the same damn result? 32. No. Something of value is lost or destroyed.
Your accordion?
Don't touch my accordion. Actually, uh, I mean, I would be okay with the accordion being damaged if we want to go in that direction. Here's the idea that I had, which is that this group was actually well prepared and had like a map or a book or something that revealed something of value uh, in these caves. And maybe one of my sling stones hits a lantern and that thing goes up in flames.
So less shiny treasure for us. Yeah.
Right. So whatever opportunity we might have taken from these folks is now long gone. Does that sound all right? Okay, so we've got Nadira, you're still engaged, you're kind of had been engaged with the rear guard, but now you are maybe engaging with someone else. Hennian was attacking I think a different person, and got attacked himself. Keenan launched some arrows, but now has been made, and they're kind of going after him. And Sasko set the place on fire. It sounds about right. So we're kind of back up to Nadira again.
Are we going to go through details again, or do we want to zoom out to battle sort of vignette mode?
Oh, I'm flexible. Does anyone have a hankering either way?
It's just we have the option. Doesn't mean we have to use it, but yeah, it depends how people feel.
You mean like either continuing with the granular combat moves or zooming out to?
Yeah, we can just zoom out and do battle mode.
I'm fine with continuing with combat moves a bit more, just to kind of see, like, at least for this one combat, what a start to finish combat kind of looks like.
Yeah.
As rough as it is going for us.
Josh, you okay? Continuing with granular combat?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it. I propose that we do one more round and we see where we end up progress wise, and then maybe we can end the fight progress.
Narratively, we can always just say, screw it, we haul ass out of the place.
And we're done. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more. Nadira.
I think Nadira kind of like seeing what's going on. I'm gonna try and secure an advantage for us.
Oh, good call.
So let's see, secure an advantage, and I'm gonna do it with deception, stealth, or trickery. So I think like maybe the spear guy that Keenan was trying to shoot at with a with his bow and arrow is readying another spear, and I can kind of see like he's about to get someone. Like maybe Hennian's kind of on the fence, and I can see like the spear about ready to go for him. So Nadira like picks up some sand and like throws it in the guy's face or something and tries and like distract him that way. So I'm doing this with Shadow, and I don't think any of my stuff helps me. So that is 3 on the action die, which upgrades to a 6. That is a strong hit.
Nice.
So what do I get on a strong hit? On a strong hit, we retake advantage and then choose one. Take control, making another move now, not a progress move, adding +1, or take +2 momentum. I think if it's okay with people, I will take control, making another move. So what can I do? And probably, well, actually no, I will take the +2 momentum. I think that makes sense as far as like, Nadira throws sand in his eye. The spear that the guy is about to throw like just goes way off, and if anything, like almost takes out one of his friends, but not quite. Almost takes out the direwolf handler, and like you hear a yip from the direwolf, but like it's not hit at all.
You don't want to roll a clash just to see because you've got the +1.
Because I think it would be strike, because we get initiative back, and I'm more worried I don't want to lose initiative for people since we just got it back.
It's interesting. I was reading advantage and
Oh,
has
initiative as
two different
separate.
things. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So because you um because you uh, got a strong hit on the advantage and you take control, you can make another move now with a +1. So you'd be rolling clash with an extra +1.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even pick up on the difference between initiative and advantage.
Yeah, and if you get a strong hit, then we do get initiative. There.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that then. So clash, which I am using iron, so that'll be 2. Okay, so that is another strong hit on clash
Nice.
because my d10s were low enough, thankfully. So on a strong hit, I inflict my harm and then choose one. You have the initiative. I will inflict an additional harm. I think like just by pure luck, that spear that went way off base actually like hit one of his own allies, and then Nadir is able to do a little like sneaky, shank as the guy has like sand in his eyes. So that is 2 harm that I am sending out.
So, all right. No, I did not. We've already made 4. So if you're causing 2, that's 2 more 2s. That we're up to 8 harm on the rival treasure hunters.
Nice.
Yeah, or 8 out of 10 progress checks.
Does that mean 2 of them are down, sort of thing? What does that mean narratively?
Yeah, maybe a couple of them are incapacitated. There's been no progress on the direwolf.
Mhm.
So, Joel, did you want to do any more narration on that, or are we ready to move on?
Nope, I think we are good to move on.
So Henian is up. How is Henian going to make up for the previous round? Josh, that's you.
Yes, sorry.
No worries.
Henian is gonna. He has a big long stick. I think that Henian is afraid of the wolf. He's not a fan of wolves attacking him, and he's trying to fend off the wolf with his staff. Keep it a safe distance away from him and away from the rest of us.
Love it.
Yeah. So this is also a clash, probably, because we don't have initiative.
Oh no,
Or
again, are we doing it as a party or as individuals? Because Nadir has certainly regained initiative.
okay. I think as a party, yeah. So we do have initiative, so it's a strike actually.
Yep.
Got it. So that is a 6 on the D6 and an 8 and a 9 on the D10, which I think it is a miss, but I also think I can make it not be a miss.
What are you adding to the D6? Are you adding iron or edge?
Well, here's the thing is that I'm going to say that I'm using this as a simple weapon, not as a deadly weapon, which means that I actually have a +3. So this is a strong hit.
Oh yeah, nice.
Now I think, I'm going to assume it's a strong hit because it's a 9 versus a 9 and 8.
All right.
So, strike. I inflict +1 harm, and we retain initiative. And so that is a 2 harm, because as a simple weapon, it does 1 harm, and that is a additional.
And were you were going after the dire wolf?
I am going after the dire wolf.
So my understanding is we do 3 checks per harm. So we are up to 6 on the dire wolf. because that math.
I also gain a momentum for whacking it.
What does Henian say when he makes contact with the direwolf?
Yeah, well, Henian isn't saying anything really. I think he's just sort of panickedly swatting at this wolf with his staff, and he manages to give it a solid crack, with this big heavy stick. Probably weighs a good few pounds, swinging it, big fulcrum. Can't be healthy.
Awesome. Blake, what is Keenan doing?
He's going to fire at the dire wolf.
Even though you've got someone coming at you, or did we decide that person?
Oh no, yeah, that's right, yeah, because they're the badass. So all right, yeah, I'll fire at them instead.
Yeah.
Let's see, 2 enough. All right, 2 to the 6, and oh, sweet. So 8, strong hit. You beauty.
Nice. So I think we can just assume that we are at the end of that progress track.
Yeah, so 2 harm on the badass dude.
Love it. You want to narrate that at all? How does Keenan regain his?
What the hell? I'll get the 2 arrows, so 1 on either side of the thing, and bang at the same time, straight into the chest. Of course, no one else saw it. It's like, oh wow, come on.
No one was looking. Love it. All right, so we do have the dire wolf. I think I'm just gonna sling it up.
Well, I heard dire wolves like the taste of musicians, so poor Sasko.
I wonder if I did consider using Storyweaver to be like to sort of engage in some oratory. But maybe on the next combat I will do.
You're going to talk about the 3 little pigs, so try and talk the wolf up and then lure it in for the.
Try to make the wolf feel pretty good about himself. All right. So let me just roll. I'll be rolling with edge, I assume, which is 2. So weak hit for me. Let's see. We decided have we lost initiative? No, not until I rolled. I inflict my harm, so 2 harm puts this direwolf at the end of their track as well. I think I kind of moved fairly quickly and fling a couple of rocks. This doesn't really hurt the wolf in a way that makes it incapacitated, but it does kind of scare the wolf off to the point where the handler can't control it anymore. So I think the price that I pay for my weak hit is that even though we've scared the wolf off, we may encounter them later, right? They sort of end up in the caves somewhere. What I don't know about rules wise is ending the fight. Since we've gotten to the end of our tracks, do we even need to roll?
There's a move that says end the fight, and sort of you could take that since you just kind of took out the direwolf.
I think the way I would read it is like we would do the end the fight move, but it would be like we're just guaranteed a strong hit essentially.
Right.
So we would just
compare it.
That is also my read. Is that because we have filled all of the trackers, we automatically get a result of a 10 on the end of the fight. So
yeah,
so if we had chosen when we were at like 8 on the tracker,
right,
then we would have rolled the d10s, and if they had been with 9s, then we could have failed at ending the fight. But because we have cleared the trackers, we have succeeded at ending the fight.
Um, so I kind of want to round out this scene before we take a little bit of break. Thoughts are like we can search the bodies, we could search around this room. Um, we could maybe get one of them to talk to us. I don't know. Do you all have any ideas?
Maybe we took out sort of most of them. The dire wolf handler was there, and we're like, we'll let you go, but just ask her a few questions first, because like the dire wolf's buggered off. It's hurt. It's wounded.
Mhm.
We took out the others, so we just kind of try and question him or her, whatever, for information.
Yeah, I like that. That actually gives us a chance to try some relationship moves, if I remember correctly, because we have compel. Nadira, I sense that maybe you've got the most vested interest in making these people talk. Does that sound right? I guess the question is, do they recognize you? Do they have any notion of who you are?
Yeah, I think if anything, there is Nadira has a tattoo that she's told kind of you guys, um, it was like a drunken mistake when she was younger. Don't worry about it. But they recognize it as someone that they had captured at one point and sold into slavery.
Okay. So are you trying to get this guy to talk?
Yeah, I think she was trying to get him to talk probably less for like the group's benefit of traversing the cave and more trying to figure out like, have they come across anyone? Do they have anyone kind of ready to be sold in slavery nearby? Like maybe
Nice.
there's more people outside of the cave that they kind of have like being held, with some of the other slavers.
Yes.
So I think, and let's see, yeah, that would be a compel.
Yes.
Definitely not trying to pacify or barter. As bad as it is, I think threaten makes the most sense for what Nadira would be doing at this moment.
Yes, knowing what we know about her.
Yep. She's probably doing the stereotypical. She has like a knife under the guy's throat and is like yelling at him to talk as, maybe other people are trying to get her to calm down. So, my attempt at compelling was a complete miss. It's a 5 on the action die and a 6 and a 9 on the challenge dice. But I was doing a little researching. I have momentum, which I can burn, and anything at that momentum level, it'll clear out that dice.
Yep.
So I have 6 momentum. So
Nice.
if I burn that, I can get rid of that lower die, and it would be a weak hit at that
Yeah,
point.
nicely done.
Yeah,
look at us using the mechanics,
yeah,
like real RPG.
we're engaging the game. And I think it said it reset it to the default 2 momentum when you do that.
Yep.
So on the weak hit, as above, so they do what I want or share what they know, take +1 momentum. If you use this exchange to gather information, make that move now and add +1. So on a weak hit, as above, but they will ask something of you in return. Envision what they want. Ask the oracle if unsure.
They could just be fleeing with their life, because we kicked the shit out of all their friends. So.
Yep. Yeah, that is true. So they share what they know, and I get +1 momentum. Yeah, I think that makes the most obvious sense. Is like what they asked for me is like, let me live, but then also like don't tell anyone that they went against like their code, because they have a very strong like code of loyalty. And
What do you think would make this? Is it purely the fact that you're sparing his life that makes him willing to comply, or what do you think makes him feel compelled?
I think if anything, maybe it's the fact that they recognize me as like a former slave, and that's one of those like they kind of know for how like they treat people and that sort of thing. If anyone was able to make it out of there would be a lot of like resentment and that sort of thing involved. So
Yeah, like that.
kind of one of those like they know Nadir is serious when she has her knife at the guy's throat.
Right. I think you probably have a little bit of a reputation as an escaped enslaved person. And I wonder if there's like a superstition in their culture that says if you ever encounter a formerly enslaved person, bad luck, bad things will happen to you or something like that.
Yeah, kind of one of those like you only ever encounter them once.
Right.
Either,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So are you rolling gather information, or are we just gonna assume he tells us what we want to know?
Find that move. Is that under?
I think it's adventure moves.
Oh, there we go. I think so. Yeah. I think that would make the most sense to kind of see if it is good news or not through the move. So the compel gave me +1 to it, and then I am rolling wits, which is okay. It's not the worst skill I have, I suppose. 6.
Wow.
So that is a strong hit on gather information. Okay, so you discover something helpful or specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you discover and take +2 momentum.
Just earning that momentum right there.
Until I burn it all over again.
The main thing you were trying to learn is whether there were they had taken on some new people, enslaved some folks, and they were nearby. Right?
Yep. So I think at this point, I'm gonna say ask the Oracle just to kind of keep it up in the air.
Totally with you.
Now the question is, I haven't done that before. This is new. Because it's not one of the oracles. It's just if we ask a question. Oh, here we go. Ask the Oracle.
Yeah.
I think I'll say it's a 50-50 chance that there's other slaves nearby. So then we roll a D100. And it was a 36. So I think that would be low. So there are not slaves nearby, if I'm reading it right.
Yeah, I'm finding this a little confusing, but I will take your word for it. Can I make a suggestion you got a strong hit on the gather information. I wonder if they're not here for the shipwreck like we are. Mm-hmm. They're here to find some artifact that will help them with their trade, essentially. Help them be more effective at catching.
Maybe it helps them command mammoths, so they're going to use them.
Why not? I mean, maybe they use mammoths as part of like transporting enslaved people.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes it much easier for them to take command of them and stuff, and basically use them as pack mules rather than a wonderful creature sort of thing.
Yeah, I like that. So we kind of find out there aren't other slaves nearby, but like because of the strong hit, we find this out that they were actually here for an artifact that they're trying to get.
Right.
And kind of like a vague idea of where they think it is.
Yes.
If we hadn't if we hadn't burned that book.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
I think we're at a good time for a break now. And when we come back, we will kind of maybe roll that progress move to just see where we're, how much further we've made into the cave. So I've got 2 past the hour. When we reconvene in 10, so 12 past the hour. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. See you shortly. And we're back. So we've had to say goodbye to Josh. What, now that we've defeated this group, what do we want to do now? Do we want to, we had talked during the break about maybe retconning a vow. Maybe now is a time, like now that we've sort of paid with blood a little bit, to declare a vow.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think even like cinematically that would make sense as we kind of like take care of the first big huddle or hurdle. You know, we've all probably shed some blood, and we kind of remember back on like why we're here in the cave.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to hear. Blake, do you think Keenan will declare some kind of vow?
Yeah, we just wanted to find the ship, didn't we? Which, I mean, we saw the crow's nest, so it's definitely here.
Right. So what does that look like now that we're standing kind of above this the scene of violence?
So I think he pulls out his knife, and there's a sort of flashback to the last time he pulled it out, which is when we were up on the cliffs before we went in, and we all swore to find the shipwreck and survive whatever this cave could throw at us. I gather you had to prick your finger or something, and in his case, it would be swear to the horned one, which is a mountain goat ibex thing.
Nice.
That he is going to die trying, or survive or die trying. This quest.
So if you want to do this by the book, you'll roll with heart.
It's heart. What have we got? 2. Okay. It's a good 80 span. Okay. All right. Bam.
Nice.
8. Strong hit.
Perfect.
+2 momentum. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right.
I guess I can go next. I think Sasco maybe has this sort of better appreciation for the dangers in the world, that he's sort of led the closest thing to a privileged life that exists in the Ironlands, where he's not really been exposed to too much danger. He, can get by playing music and cooking a bit, can earn a bit of extra money making elixirs for folks. And he's got this kind of elven heritage that sort of is always lingering in the back, that kind of lets him feel like he's always got an escape plan if he needs one. But this level of violence that was clearly more than a bar brawl, which is the extent of violence that he has felt before, has made him see, I think, you two in a different light. And I think he's especially sort of bewildered and taken by Nadira having maybe a better understanding now of what this really meant, what was really going on here. And so I'm going to vow to not only find the ship, but recover this artifact so that no trader of enslaved people can get their hands on it. So that is the vow that I will make. My heart is 3. And I did terribly. So I'm working on a weak hit, or I'm working on a miss. And I don't think I have any momentum to speak of. Yeah, my momentum is 2. Jeez. What have I been doing? So after all that speechifying that he did, on a miss, you face a significant obstacle before you can begin your quest. Envision what stands in your way. Ask the oracle if unsure, and choose one. You press on, suffer -2 momentum, and do what you must to overcome this obstacle. You give up, forsake your vow.
I'm wondering if the obstacle is fear. So like people did the vows, and instead of the adrenaline burst, he felt sick from it. So he just felt
Right.
bleh the whole time he's doing this, and that's
Right.
why he couldn't use his momentum because he's feeling shit house.
Yeah. He was speechifying, and one of you is like, you know, there's probably scarier stuff regarding this artifact. And I'm like, never mind. No, never mind. I'm good. When you renounce your quest, betray your promise, or the goal is lost to you, clear the vow and endure stress. You suffer minus spirit equal to the rank of your quest. Let's assume it was dangerous. So I'm starting to get a little depressed. I'm a depressed bard. That got dark fast. Nadira, I will not suck up any more wind out of here. Nadira, it's your turn to do a vow.
Okay, so I think by contrast to Sesko's like very sheltered life, as we're kind of swearing the vows before coming in here, Nadira's looking at him and like, you know, he doesn't really have any scars. He hasn't really been in very tough fights, you know, maybe like his hands aren't very calloused or anything. Whereas like Nadira has like cut marks and stuff that she covers up and has lived a very difficult life by comparison. And she's kind of envious of him, but kind of swears a vow to give other people that sheltered of a life, you know, free of like difficulty and turmoil. And so if anything, maybe one of the obstacles that is also in your way of retrieving the artifact is Nadira wants to get it for herself to use like against the slavers in revenge. And kind of like plots to do that if she can find it.
Yeah, I can totally picture Sasko being like, you know what? If this is important to you, it's fine. You can do it. I will step back. I will let you drive this quest. Did we decide that we were going to make some progress just on our delve in general?
Well, yeah, because for the reach of milestone, this is when you defeat a powerful threat. That's like, well, we kind of just did. So good.
Yeah.
So that would be 2 points.
So that puts us at 6 of 10 in terms of progress. You know what we could do? One thought that I had is that we could roll the getting to the end of the quest move, end of the delve move. Hang on. Locate your objective. When your exploration of a site comes to an end, roll the challenge dice and compare it to your progress. Momentum is ignored on this roll. On a strong hit, you locate your objective and the situation favors you. On a weak hit, you locate the objective but face an unforeseen hazard or complication. And then on a miss, our objective falls out of reach. So since we're at 6 out of 10, we could try to reach the end and maybe start to envision what the next delve looks like. Which
Or
would
do
be-
the journey home move. There was a thing for that too.
Oh yeah,
Undertake a journey. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't do it on the way here. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that sounds good to me.
So let's just kind of set us up a little bit, sort of in the fiction, like we're sort of moved on past this scene of the fight, and I know my spirit is low, so I'm feeling discouraged and a little frustrated. And you know what it is? It is the Ironland's equivalent of imposter syndrome. I am definitely like, I do not belong here. I don't know how a cook ended up with these hardened adventurers.
Yeah, because we don't seem phased by the fight, whereas you're like,
Right.
you know, you might
Like,
be shaking or nervous, looking around, whatever. But we're just, you know, we're barely even sweating. We're just like, oh well.
yeah, yeah. Even Hennian, who's not, who's more of a lover than a fighter, seems like maybe he was, you know, okay with this whole thing. I'm looking around for Torin. Like, what? Do we just leave him behind? And maybe Torin would understand a little bit more because he's not as experienced as the others. And maybe we kind of get to a new place in these wild caves that start to feel like I'm sort of picturing like we're higher up, but we get to an opening and we see kind of more water. It's like a big, big, big open cave with water where a shipwreck could be if we roll well. Or maybe this is where the shipwreck is, and our roll decides what we're able to salvage from it.
I'm going to suggest, because I have to, if it goes badly, this is where the giant octopus is. Because, you know, bring it on.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little Goonies-esque. So if I get two Goonies, just bring me back a little bit. Yeah, I like that. Do we think the runes followed us into this cave, or is this like, are we seeing kind of ancient magic in here, or is this just kind of devoid of any sort of energy whatsoever?
I think, if anything, maybe the shipwrecked on one of those iron pillars here to kind of like combine both interests. So
Yep.
there is like a few small runes that we almost thought we lost the trail, and then we walk into this opening and we see you know, this iron pillar going up higher than we can see. There's just kind of haze above us, and like what we think might be the shipwreck on its against it, crashed against it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Is there, Blake, do you think we're hearing any sounds around us? Is there the sound of, I mean, this is a wild sea cave. So I would be 100% behind the idea of like the sounds of wildlife, whatever that might be.
Yeah, we can probably hear albatross in the distance. There's dripping sounds from the stalactites in the ceiling.
Yep.
A little bit of tidal movement, but not a lot, because
Right.
this is a bit in from the shore.
Yeah. There's maybe like the bloop of things potentially coming to the surface. We can't see it, but we sort of hear like things breaking the surface and then going back down. All right, who would like to do the honors of rolling the 2 challenge dice?
You know, I'll do it. So it's just 2d10.
2d10. Nice.
10, 2.
That looks like a weak hit to me. So locate your objective on a weak hit. You locate your objective, but face an unforeseen hazard or complication. Envision what you found.
Yeah. Tentacle comes out of the water around my waist. Bring it on.
I mean, we could just run a battle, like do the abbreviated battle.
But to me, I'm thinking it's just a couple of tentacles at the minute. There's a chance we could get away,
Right.
but so we can do like some sort of avoidance roll, and if that fails, then
Oh, yeah.
battle sort of thing.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. That's great.
I guess it would be face danger since it's immediate and risky.
Yeah, let's each do it too.
Yep. It heard us coming and it's chucked a couple of tentacles up to try and grab us and reef us off the ship. Edge. Yeah, this is an edge. You want to go first, Joel?
Sure. Yeah, I don't really feel like I can deceive a tentacle, so I think edge makes the most sense.
Doing the shell game.
Yep.
You could do a bob and weave. Isn't that deception?
That is true. Oh god, unfortunately I already rolled the dice. So that is a 4 on my action against a 7 and an 8. And I don't have enough stuff to like cancel any of that out. So I think if anything, Nadira, like a tentacle comes for her and she was about to pretty much do like a cartwheel out of the way and is almost about to get it, but then the tentacle goes around her hand that's kind of supporting her body as she's mid-flip and just yanks her off. So on a miss, you fail, your progress is undermined by a dramatic and costly turn of events. Pay the price. Let's pay that price.
We were so close.
I know. I don't normally roll this high in PBTA games. So I'm like, I was on a high from all those strong hits. 55. What is that? It puts you at a disadvantage.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I think like it just the tentacle like pulls Nadira just so far away from you guys. She's kind of dragging on the ground, scratching up her face. Probably like some of her rations or some of her supplies falls out, and it just throws her against a wall, like on the other side of the cavern from you.
Right.
She's completely separated from you guys.
Okay.
That makes sense. Like you're gonna roll.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hang on. What is this with? Face danger. I'm going with edge. So that's 2. So I got 8. Oh, strong hit. Sweet.
Very strong. Yep. So you get +1 momentum.
Yeah, I was up where the steering wheel is. It's like, shit, tentacles, bang, bang, yell out, tentacles, something's coming. Some momentum.
All right. I see these tentacles and I'm like, Sasko, you can do this. You can do this. You are not, you are just as much of an adventurer as the rest of these folks. You can totally do this. Roll with heart. That's still a weak hit. Oops. So on a weak hit, you succeed but face a troublesome cost. Choose one. You are delayed, you lose advantage, or you face a new danger, suffer -1 momentum. You are tired or hurt, endure harm. You are dispirited or afraid, endure stress. You sacrifice resources, suffer -1 supply.
You could be in the water, like a tentacle kind of backhanded you into the water. So your tentacle doesn't have you, but you're in the water. You're not even on the boat.
Yeah, I'm thinking I don't want to lose any momentum, but maybe it smacked me and I'm hurt. So I'm thinking to suffer harm. So we've got these tentacles now crawling all over our boat. Are we battling?
I think we kind of have to because of how you two rolled. That there's no narrative way we could have just quickly gotten away, sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
How do you want to? Should we roll once? Each roll once. I think.
Is that what we did last time, or did we just do one roll for?
I think we did one roll. I like the idea. Maybe let's each declare a different objective.
Hmm.
You know, on the one hand, it may be defeating the octopus. On the other hand, it may be, you know, maybe they're kind of the octopus or the kraken is trying to dislodge the shipwreck, right? So maybe
we'll rip it apart. Yeah,
prevent
to
that
get to us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Joel, you want to go first? What is your objective?
Yeah. I think would it make sense like if one objective is to retrieve the supplies on the ship and
From
the
the
other objective is like to retrieve the artifact?
Oh, interesting. I was not envisioning. I thought the artifact was elsewhere.
Oh, it was way further. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm happy to yell at, you know, get the supplies, and I'll, you know, looking at Nadira sort of thing, because I know she's fast on her feet,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I'll handle the aggro of the octopus. It's just not a sentence we can just say often.
You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? Before actually, I'm gonna try and secure an advantage. And use that to pass off a +1 to one of you. Would that be all right? If I go first?
Works.
So, because I'm not a fighter, I'm a singer. So I'm thinking what I do is with secure an advantage, I'm gonna be like distracting the octopus. I'm gonna be like shouting, singing, calling out to it, trying to
Chucking
distract
stuff.
it. Yeah, playing the concertina while you are all doing.
Yeah, so I think that would make sense for Nadira to get the bonus to go and grab the stuff, because the tentacles are going for you. You've irritated it enough, you know, if it works.
Right. When you secure an advantage in direct support of an ally and score a hit, they take the benefits of the move. Okay, good. So that is what I am doing. And that I'm gonna say that's heart, courage, charm, shouting, carrying on.
Are you using your story weaver thing? Are you shouting a
Good
a sea shanty or some sort of bawdy song or something to?
Sharing an inspiring or enlightening song, poem, or tale feels like a bit of a stretch. Maybe what I'm doing, maybe I'm inspiring you all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of, maybe this shipwreck has an old tale that is, or song that is sung, that's been in our village for generations. And the song has like verse after verse of promises of wealth that is on, and supplies and riches and useful things that are on the ship. So I just break into a song about the shipwreck. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah,
I'm super excited about that. All right, so that means I can take +1 to my roll. I'm rolling with heart. Okay. Yep, so I'll be adding 4 to my roll. A very, very strong hit. So I'm going to let you, Nadira, take the +1.
Okay. Okay, so I think Nadira will do the battle. So would it be a battle move at this point, or just like a face danger?
I think it would be face danger because yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think Nadira is using like stealth and trickery, and if anything, like you had kind of said, fainting, uh, maybe like throwing a dagger to like make noise, and then darting out when the tentacles like go to investigate that.
Love it.
'Cause I'm thinking it's sort of shaking the ship and it's flicking tentacles around trying to get us. So the
Mhm.
danger is getting hit overboard, getting grabbed by the tentacles, having something on the ship fall on you.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
Yeah. So with the +1, that is a 7 on the action die, 4 and 8 on the other. So that is a weak hit, which isn't bad. So I succeed, but encounter a minor complication or delay in which what happens and suffer appropriately. I think, if anything, like Nadira is darting and weaving and kind of like fainting around all these tentacles.
I kind of feel your infiltrator move would apply in this case because it is literally held by the enemy and
Oh,
you're
that is
trying to
true.
traverse and hide and
Yeah. I keep
Agreed.
thinking of an enemy as like other people, but yeah, a giant kraken makes
Kraken.
perfect sense.
Totally an enemy.
So that adds +1. So I tie then with the highest D10. Do you know, do we win ties,
Yes.
I think?
We've been counting that. So.
Okay. Nice. So then that goes up to a strong hit, which, so then I get the momentum for those. Just add that quickly. Okay, so I don't suffer any shenanigans at all. And Nadira is able to retrieve the supplies. So I think you kind of see her probably full like impressive acrobatics display of like jumps onto the mast, like flips around, jumps onto the ship, tumbles, rolls, like all very graceful, all very on point. The performer in Sasko is like a little bit impressed.
Yeah.
And then she grabs like the heavy chest and moves a little slower this time, but is able to like get the chest back on the solid ground.
Keenan, are you attacking this Kraken?
yeah, bring it on.
Bring it.
So I guess it would be strike. Oh no, we're doing battle, aren't we? Trying to battle. Yep, speed because I'm just going arrow, arrow, arrow. It's huge. I can't. Freaking theoretically, I can't miss it. It's 2. Let's go. Okay, so that becomes 5.
Oh, nice.
Strong hit.
There
Sweet.
you go. What was your objective?
Oh, just to cause as much damage as possible. I just want to hurt it. Blah, 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 blah. 2
Sending it
momentum.
back to the deep.
Yeah, I want it to just inflict enough pain for it to go, you know what, this isn't worth it, I'm retreating. To momentum for that, sweet. Crap.
So Sasko is not completely useless, but that is the least objective that we achieved. Keenan beat back a Kraken, and Nadira recovered whatever was on this ship. Is there anything we need to do in the cave, or are we like cutting to outside the cave? Like we've left, and now we're cracking open the chest, or is there something else that we all need to do inside the cave?
Weren't you into the iron pillar things? Did you want to take a sample or touch the iron pillar or something? I don't know.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, what a good idea. Thank you for that reminder. My personal vow doesn't have anything to do with that, which I'm realizing is kind of a mistake. Give me a moment, let me see. I think I'm rolling on some oracle tables.
Okay.
just to see if I get something interesting. Tell me what you think about this. I'm still singing, and something I hit a note or a chord that activates the pillar in some way and causes, I don't know, I'm thinking like tremors or vibration, like vibrations pushing out from it to the point where Nadira's kind of flipped off the boat with the chest under her arm, and the vibrations start and cause the shipwreck to kind of completely disintegrate.
Yeah. So we decided to haul ass out of the caves too.
Yeah.
Because stuff's falling down from the ceiling and
Right. Yeah. Things are, yeah. So now we're, yes, good. I love it. So we're like, so something about my music activated the pillar in a way that no one's ever seen before. And now I've got this kind of clue or hint or at least mystery.
yeah. So you'd get momentum on that if that was a personal quest to find out about the iron pillars. And I guess we would do face danger to get the hell out of caves without. Or do we just want to say we run out?
I'd say we're out. I think we're out.
Okay. All right.
Because I think the more interesting thing is what's in the box. And there's no what's in the box oracle.
I don't know. Should we take turns saying something? Either we can just say something out of thin air, or
yes,
like I'll say something for Sasko, Sasko say something for Nadira, and so on. Something to do with their background or their goal or their character or whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, or is this something that will help? We hope will help the village. I guess I'm wondering. Do we ask the oracle? Is this a helpful thing or a harmful thing? Let's see what the oracle says.
And then go based off of that. Yeah. I do see there's an oracle for major plot twist. We want to do that. If
I love that table.
If it says like it is not something helpful, roll on that and try and interpret those results.
So do we think it's more likely to be helpful or more likely to be harmful? Or maybe helpful with a cost?
I mean, those maybe likely to be helpful with a cost, just kind of feel like either likely or 50-50.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to necessarily do almost certainly and just kind of have it all but guaranteed. I think it's fun to keep it up in the air.
Yeah, I think it's 50-50 that it's helpful. And it's unlikely that it is helpful without a cost.
That's good.
All right. I just need to find a dice roller. Wow, I did great. So I rolled an 84, which means it is helpful without a cost. That's, I think, what we said. So whatever is in here is something that the village can make use of. With that inspiration, Blake, do you have any ideas?
Maybe it's like medical practices, you know, like washing the knives before you treat a wound and using clean water and using clean bandages and stuff, that a lot of stuff that got lost on the trip over, sort of thing.
Yeah, and a lot of maybe lost wisdom or a guidebook for how to do healing type stuff.
Yeah, maybe even some herbal recipes that Nadira can sort of, oh, I know where to find this and this, and yeah, how to medical stuff.
Oh, so one of my main vow is to find the secret ingredients to Grandma's cure-all. I wonder if there's a clue in here.
Oh, like maybe the symbol on the book is the same symbol as like the pendant your grandma always wore.
Yeah.
And so it's like
Maybe when she was young, she contributed to some of these notes and stuff. So maybe it could be a chunk of that.
Mhm.
Well, she's an elf, so, but maybe, who knows? So when my quest is epic, I guess that's one tick, right? I'm just gonna say it's one tick. There's no way I'm gonna ever complete this quest.
Yeah, one tick per success.
Cool. Was there anything else we wanted to say about what's in the chest?
I think it makes sense that, or it's kind of neat that we were going into it expecting like supplies, like weapons or physical things, and we instead found like books and literature of like knowledge that we had kind of lost on the trip over.
Yeah, like maybe in the old world we were far more cultured, and a lot of that had to get left behind, maybe because we lost some of the stuff, but also because of the nature of the Ironlands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if it's like a log or a journal of who's on the boats and their family histories and stuff. So there might be some local lords that are like, oh, I've been a warrior for my last 5 generations have been warrior, and that's why I deserve to be chief. And then we check the notes, it's like, actually, they weren't. They were all cooks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We've got their professions, their names, and who their parents were and their grandparents and all that sort of stuff.
That's all great. I'm just writing it all down to try and remember it for next time. My notes go from where we started to what's in the box. So I did not do a good job of taking notes. Should we take a moment to think about what our next delve is going to be?
Do we want to do the journeying back thing?
Oh, sure.
Whatever it's called, undertake a journey. That's it.
Yeah. What does that entail?
So, is it a troublesome, dangerous, formidable, extreme, or epic? Well, it's not epic because we got here in the first place. So, here you go. Dangerous. Go for the second one.
Oh, well, this one. Yeah, I mean, then we're gonna have to. This becomes then another progress meter.
Okay.
We're marking progress, which I guess we could do that for our last session. Like, our last session could not be a delve per se, but be a journey.
That would probably make more sense to me because we're not going to do a delve in one session anyway.
Yeah,
it's fun as it was cooperatively creating a delve. It's like we're not going to do it in one session. So
yeah. Yeah, let's do it. So let's say that the journey home. It'll be interesting to brainstorm like
well, in that case we can make it formidable. Make it's a rough, like the weather's gone worse since we've been in the caves or something. So
maybe there was an extended effect of activating the metal pillars, or I activated the one metal pillar, and they're obviously network.
Like it's brought a cyclone to the
Mhm.
coast or something, and
Yeah.
the weather's gone to shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Weather bad. Pillars activated. Formidable journey home. I love that. And then Henning can make use of his mammoth. I would feel so much better about this.
That's
game.
true.
We're all clinging
Yeah.
onto the mammoth and the wind's going.
Yeah.
All right. So for next time, we need to we're doing a journey home. We've got bad weather and activated pillars. And we decided, and I really like this thought of we should level up at the start of session. There's far more kind of bookkeeping in this game than I'm used to,
Mhm.
but I am enjoying it. Is there anything else session-wise you all want to do, or should we switch to stars and wishes?
I think I'm good. I can't think of anything else last minute to do that wouldn't take up like half hour or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm fading a bit, so.
Mhm.
Blake, you good to wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm just looking through the moves. I mean, there's healing, but we're not really that damaged yet. We've only got. There's no. When you're sitting around a campfire, ask these questions.
Yeah. 'Cause we could make camp if you wanted to say like we made it out kind of at nightfall. We rested for the night after like having a cave almost collapse on top of us, and have that kind of be like a episode ending type scene.
Yeah, I like that. That's great. Let's do it.
So when you prepare camp and rest and recover for several hours in the wild, roll plus supply. I have
I don't
4
think
or
any of
5
us marked
supply.
off supply. Yeah, so we should all have 5.
Joel did.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
Nadira,
did, yep.
I think one of the previous sessions, it was like a face danger consequence that I had taken. So should we?
Yeah,
I
let's do it.
suppose each roll.
Yeah, I think each of us rolls.
Okay.
Go for it.
So so 5. Oh, that is a strong hit for me. I tie my highest. So on a strong hit, you and your allies may each choose up to 3. On a weak hit, choose 1. Oh, okay.
So it sounds like it's a group roll then. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, now we know. So we can each choose from 3 of these things, is what I'm understanding.
That's funny. The make camp in the character keeper says choose 2.
Oh, really? Is that under adventure?
Yeah, it says 2 on my PDF thing as well. That's
Okay, I might have an outdated PDF then.
Yeah,
I mean,
the book that I have says choose 2.
okay, yeah, that's 3 sources against my 1. So we can each choose 2 from the list then.
or health. We'll get some health back. You
Mhm.
can use some of the techniques in the from the treasure sort of thing to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, didn't you have Hennian had a marked, and Keenan, you had a marked condition.
Yeah, I just yes. All right. So I can get rid of that. And it doesn't mention conditions under make camp. So
No, it doesn't.
looks like it's still shaking. Let's just check book on that, because otherwise you could have your entire career. Condition.
I guess when we're done with the mechanics, let's talk about sort of what this looks like on the screen. I'm going to take +1 spirit, try and ease my depression a bit, and focus. Since I've not gained any momentum, take +1 momentum.
I'm good on health and spirit. I think I'll just do the momentum twice.
Nice.
Yeah.
To me, it kind of makes sense that I could get rid of the condition because, we made it out alive.
Mhm.
My former missing was sort of later on. I didn't actually hit the squid and stuff. So
Should we, if anything, since there is like recuperate or partake, just say suffer -1 supply using like the supplies we have and the knowledge from the books we have to clear a
Yeah,
condition.
I like it.
okay.
So have we scaled the cliff? Maybe. I seem to remember this. We put this at the bottom of a big cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Henian's mammoth is still there.
Mm-hmm. Bash 2.
Probably the tides come in with the weather change, and we're like, let's get to higher ground.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, besides the storm, what other evidence are we seeing that the weather is picking up? Like, are there, I don't know, maybe there were fishermen or something like that who are now kind of retreating.
I don't know about the weather picking up, but I think like the iron pillar causing that reverberation and collapse in a lot of the caves as we kind of are making camp looking at the journey ahead of us. There's a bunch of like sinkholes of where like the cave structure collapsed
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
and just kind of like jagged rocks and dark depths that we have
Yeah.
to avoid.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. And I think, I mean, the Ironlands are always sort of gray, but we're now we've gone from, kind of a light gray to something much more dire in the sky. So, did we find shelter? Are we in the underneath some rock, some overhang? Are we in the forest? What do you think?
Well, it's coastal, so maybe there's some sort of mangroves with there's a little cave, even if it's a kilometer away or something, and we'll hustle over there,
Yeah, we
shelter as
found
the
some
rain
shelter.
comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
It's not huge, but it's not shaking, and it keeps us out of the rain. So
Right.
Mhm.
Is there something from the box that, like, as you're falling asleep, you're kind of obsessed with or thinking about or holding on to?
I'm thinking every now and then there's a noise, and it's like a metallic reverberation of the noise you made to activate the pillar in the first place.
Okay. So we're hearing that like all around or in
Or
the distance or
either that or just you're hearing it because you're the one that set off the pillar.
yeah. Yeah, I like that. I thought maybe I was kind of looking through the recipe book to fall asleep, but I like the idea of I'm a little you know what, to that, just to keep the fiction, I'm gonna keep my spirit at 3 and just bump on my head. I'm a little freaked out by what happened in the caves. I love that. That's a great idea. Anything else you want to talk about? Joel, what's Nadira looking at or thinking about?
I think maybe on the horizon, Nadira keeps thinking that she sees where, what was the name of the settlement? Whispering Willows is. She keeps thinking she sees like a settlement up in flames, but she can't tell if that's just the smoke of that or if that's, cloud cover from the storm coming in. And it's always just kind of constantly like at the side of her vision whenever she looks away, and it's pulling her back to that.
That's awesome. And what about Keenan?
What the hell? I might do this augur ritual, and I'm just going to ask. I'm going to stand out in the open with my arms out, and I'll kind of wave my bow and chant to the horned one, and sort of, basically, as the crows start circling in. Obviously, normally it's like 21 crows, but it's only like 3 this time because the wind is buffeting the hell out of the poor buggers. Right. So, and I'm just asking, are my children safe?
Oh, nice.
So I roll plus wits. What are my wits? I think I've got 3. And okay, so 8 weak hit. Here's the thing. On a weak hit, crows ignore your question and offer a clue to an unrelated problem. That'll be right. Bloody birds. Unrelated problem.
Oh, I believe this calls for a roll on the plot twist table.
Okay. Is that a percentage thing?
I just clicked the Oracle. Yeah.
Okay, yep.
It said a true identity is revealed.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like something the crows would totally do when they're being as unhelpful as possible. Are they shedding? Are they sowing distrust in the party?
I didn't even think of between us. I was trying to think of like with something that we had faced. Because you said, and a secret, what was the plot twist? An identity is revealed.
The true identity is revealed. I mean, maybe it's something like at the next waypoint, wherever we're trying to get to. Keenan, you've got the sense that there's going to be someone there who is not who they say they are.
Okay.
And we can use that kind of to seed.
Yep. Where your deception lies upon the path ahead of you, sort of thing.
Yeah. That's good.
Bloody birds. All right.
Yeah, there's also a Mystic Backlashes table, which I really like.
Okay. All right. But we're doing the actual journey roll when the others are here next time.
Yeah, I think so. I think that makes sense. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm very sleepy. I need to get to bed. But let's do some stars and wishes. Joel, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. I mean, stars, same, I think, as last time of everyone has like super interesting characters and, have been playing them really well and just fun. Like, I like a game where you can introduce your own weak hits or own complications and just make life hard for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's fun that people are willing to do that and, disclose that like you still hear the ringing of the iron pillars and that sort of thing. So
yeah,
very fun job there and great job there. And kind of, yeah, like you said, this game has a lot of bookkeeping compared to like the other PBTA games, that I'm used to on the Gauntlet. But I like how it is it's role playing, but you're not necessarily talking as a person. You're just kind of talking about like, this is what my character's doing. Here's kind of what we're thinking about. And then it's almost gamey in the fact of you're thinking about like, how can I min max and do something sneaky to
Right.
have a better skill, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I like how granular it is, and I like how you can just go on an oracle table if you're not sure what happens and just roll and find out like how much you just screwed yourself over.
Right.
So I guess that's kind of a star to the system. Wishes. I mean, I'm looking forward to kind of seeing like the other aspect of the system where we did a delve. Now we're going to be doing a journey. See like if we do actually make it back to the settlement and kind of having a nice what would the name for it be? Kind of like wrap up scene or epilogue scene where we kind of talk about like what happens to our characters at this point after this like arduous journey they've been on.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Blake, stars.
Yeah, no, it went well. It's quite easy to envision the characters. They're all sort of fairly distinct. They're not all, Hollywood action hero types or whatever. They've all got stuff they're dealing with, and that's cool. But there's certainly a certain amount of crunch to the system, but it is like Dungeon World in that a third of the moves you use 3 times as much as the other 2/3, and you just use them over and over and over again, sort of thing. But yeah, it's all good. It is integrated fairly well. I kind of was looking through the assets to try and make sure we use them as much as possible, because at this point there's only 3 of us, so it's like we need as much shit rolling for us as possible.
Yeah, firepower. Yep.
But yeah, it's good. It's yeah, definitely things going as.
Any wishes for next time?
And I'd probably just weave in as many of our bonds and stuff as possible to the journey, or when we get there, sort of thing. Or we can do a bit more sort of on the role playing side of things.
Yeah.
Even if it's take turns suggesting a scene for the person to your right or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, just keep going.
Yeah, you guys said a lot of things that I was thinking about. I'm kind of liking the lack of role playing, as you pointed out, Joel. Like, it's kind of a refreshing change to just sort of make this even more gamified of just like, now what did the dice tell us to do? I mean, there's still plenty of fiction, and I still feel like we did a really great job with that, but I'm definitely not embodying the character in the same way that I would do in a standard PBTA. And I guess I really like, I'm surprised by how much I like the dice rolls. I sometimes, maybe I'm overstating this, but I feel like the dice rolls are always yield a mechanical, outcome, and that pay the price table just feels too vague. And sometimes I want prompts that are a little bit more grounded in the original move, if that makes sense. Standard PBTA game does that, and it's much more about fictional positioning than it is about mechanical outcomes. So that's sort of rubbing me the wrong way, but not to the extent that I'm not enjoying it. I really liked the granular combat. I didn't think that was as fiddly as I thought it was going to be. It's moments like that though that I do miss having a GM, because I feel like they, as good as we were, Joel, and sort of giving ourselves some complications during combat, you really want the bad guys or the adversaries to be like have some surprise moves up their sleeves, and I think that's maybe a little hard to do with this. But yeah, in general, I'm kind of enjoying it more than I thought I was going to. Any wishes for next time? I'm really glad, like you suggested, that we do a journey on the way back, because I agree with Joel. Like, we've done the delve. I got dungeon crawling out of my system. I'm really curious to see kind of how the journey stuff works. So yeah, so I don't know that I've got any other thoughts for us. I think we're done. That was great. I will see you all next week. Hopefully we will have a full house. Okay for me to post this recording? Cool. All right, friends. Thanks so much.
That was cool. Thank you very much.
See you next week.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.